Cannabis Common Sense, the show that tells the truth about marijuana and the politics behind its prohibition.
Hello and welcome to another exciting edition of Cannabis Common Sense. Over in the wings, Mr. John Cornett is standing by ready to play some music. Hey, John.
Hey, Paul, how you doing?
Pretty well. How about yourself?
Hanging in there, brother.
Hey, that beats some of the alternatives at least. And right next to me, Mr. Eric Llewellyn is here. Hey, Eric.
How you doing?
Thanks for coming back. And we have some hemp news for you, some of Jorge Cervantes' video clips. We have this banner turned around here because we are under a court order not to use or to represent that this Canadian Israeli oil company has obtained a court order to stop us from using our name somehow. And so this is turned around until such time that we can beat these dirty SOBs in court. So time will tell. So stand by. We'll be back with our hemp news right after our infamous Dancing Cannabis Leaves.
I feel the force.
First story tonight is from Washington, D.C. Last week, the bipartisan authors of the Sentencing Reform and Corrections Act, or the SRCA, reintroduced their comprehensive legislation to review prison sentences for certain nonviolent drug offenders, reduce recidivism, and save taxpayer dollars. The legislation, spearheaded by the Senate Judiciary Committee Chuck Grassley, a Republican from Iowa, and Democratic Senate Whip Dick Durbin from Illinois, improves judicial discretion at sentencing for low-level offenders and helps inmates successfully re-enter society while tightening penalties for violent criminals and preserving key prosecutorial tools for law enforcement. According to Senator Grassley, he says, quote, last Congress, we worked in a bipartisan manner to develop a proposal that empowers judges, saves taxpayer dollars, and gives low-level nonviolent offenders another shot at rejoining the productive side of society. Since that time, we've been meeting with colleagues and stakeholders to improve the bill and grow support. While the political landscape in Washington has changed, the same problems presented by the current sentencing regime remain, and we will continue to work with colleagues in Congress and the administration, as well as advocates and members of law enforcement's community, to find a comprehensive solution to ensure justice for both the victims and the accused, and support law enforcement in their mission to keep our communities safe, end quote, Senator Grassley said. He went on, quote, this legislation is a product of more than 5 years of work on criminal justice reform. It also is the best chance in a generation to right the wrongs of a badly broken system. The United States incarcerates more of its citizens than any other country in the history of the world. Mandatory minimum sentences were once seen as a strong deterrent. In reality, they often have been unfair, fiscally irresponsible, and a threat to public safety. Given tight budgets and overcrowded prison cells, our country must reform these outdated and ineffective laws that cost American taxpayers billions of dollars. We believe this legislation would pass the Senate with a strong bipartisan vote, and it's time to get this done, end quote. This original bill was introduced by Grassley and Durbin in 2015. It passed through committee but was ultimately blocked on the floor by Law and Order Senate Republicans, including now Attorney General Jeffrey Beauregard Sessions. According to Senator Grassley, he says, quote, we're looking forward to input from the administration. We had the support of the Obama administration. I think we have a chance of getting the support of this administration, end quote. Our next story is also out of Washington, D.C. Tabulations calculating the percentage of annual marijuana arrests nationwide are absent from the 2017 edition of the FBI Uniform Crime Report, which the agency released last Monday. The table, Arrests for Drug Abuse Violations, Percent Distribution by Region, had for decades appeared in the section of the FBI report entitled Persons Arrested. It was one of over 50 tables eliminated from this year's edition of the crime report. We had relied on the table in order to extrapolate and publicize annual marijuana arrest data, which is tracked since 1965. According to the latest FBI report, police made 1,572,579 arrests for illicit drug offenses in 2016. This total represents a 6% increase in arrests since 2015. Although data with regard to what percentage of these drug arrests were marijuana related was absent from this year's report, the FBI did provide percentages by request to Forbes.com. The unpublished data estimates the police made 653,249 arrests for cannabis-related violations in 2016. Of these, 587,516 arrests, or 90% of all marijuana arrests, were for possession-related offenses only, not sales or distribution. The arrest total is an increase from the 2015 figures and marks the first year-to-year uptick in nationwide marijuana arrests in nearly a decade. The uptick comes at a time when 8 states have enacted laws to regulate the adult use of cannabis, and when public support for legalizing the plant is at a record high. Our next story is from New Paltz, New York. Scientific evidence does not support claims that marijuana experimentation often serves as a gateway to the use of other drugs, particularly cocaine and heroin, according to a report issued by the Benjamin Center for Public Policy Initiatives at the State University of New York, New Paltz. The report rejects allegations that cannabis use uniquely makes a person susceptible to the use of other illicit substances, or that a causal link exists between marijuana use and heroin. According to the report, quote, there's a compelling and enduring evidence that marijuana is not a gateway drug, end quote, the report concludes. Goes on, yet non-evidence-based political factors on both the left and the right remain the reason for the persistence of the gateway myth, end quote. Prior analysis from the National Academy of Sciences and the RAND Corporation's Drug Policy Research Center similarly conclude that marijuana has no causal influence over hard drug initiation. By contrast, several recent studies indicate that those with legal cannabis access typically mitigate their use of other controlled substances, such as opioids and cocaine. Up in the peninsula state of Michigan, hundreds of petition circulators in Michigan have been busy collecting signatures for the legalization of cannabis. Josh Hove, the spokesman for the Coalition to Regulate Marijuana Like Alcohol in Michigan, says the group is pushing forward and their petition drive will collect its 300,000 signatures in the coming days. The director said, quote, we're around 80% of the way toward our goal, which puts us at about 280,000 signatures. If we can keep up our fundraising, we'll be pushing 300,000 very soon and wrapping up the signatures in the next month, end quote, Hovey told us here at Hemp News. That 300,000 signature estimate exceeds the total of 252,000 verified signature organizers must submit by November 22nd. To be safe, the campaign hopes to collect at least 360,000 signatures before the November deadline. Hovey, the director of the Michigan group, says, quote, we're expecting, based on the rate that we've been going, that we should be finished hopefully a month ahead of schedule, if not a little earlier, end quote. If enough valid signatures are collected there in Michigan, voters would decide in November 2018 whether to legalize recreational cannabis. Hovey said, quote, we've been thrilled to have nearly 60% of the public in support of legalizing cannabis in Michigan, but at the same time, this is far from a sure thing. There are big money business interests that would love for us to fail because they'd rather see the law written in a way that allows them to monopolize the market, end quote. We've seen that all over, haven't we? His group's initiative, he explained, is intentionally set up to benefit small businesses. Okay, our next story is from Pennsylvania. 59% of the roughly 400 voters surveyed in Pennsylvania approve of the adult use cannabis legalization, according to a poll by the Franklin and Marshall College Center for Opinion Research. According to the Philadelphia Inquirer, the statistic is dramatically up from 22% who supported legalization in 2006, the first year the Lancaster-based college started polling Pennsylvanians about social cannabis legalization. The study says, quote, a majority of voters in the Keystone State, 59%, said yes when asked if cannabis should be made legal, end quote, said the Franklin Marshall College Center for Opinion Research polling director Terry Madonna. Only 22% were pro-pot when pollsters first asked the question in 2006. Madonna went on to say, quote, notice the evolution. It's been a slow, inexorable growth in support during the past decade. And it's important because Pennsylvania has had a history of being a relatively conservative state on social questions. Nobody's ever accused it of being the cultural vanguard. What the poll didn't measure was the intensity of the voters' support. When you ask them what they think is most important problem, legalization of cannabis doesn't come up. It doesn't have a lot of intensity. Madonna went on, quote, so there's nothing to driving lawmakers to legalize it, end quote. Pennsylvania currently is working to launch a medical cannabis program in 2018, which Pennsylvania's Governor Tom Wolf signed into law in 2016. Our last stories tonight are out of Boston, Massachusetts. The percentage of young people who believe that they can readily access marijuana has fallen significantly since 2002, according to data published in the Journal of Studies on Alcohol and Drugs. A team of investigators from Boston University, University of Texas at Austin, University of North Carolina, and St. Louis University examined trends in perceived cannabis access among adolescents for the years 2002 to 2015. The authors reported, quote, we observed a 27% overall reduction in the relative proportion of adolescents ages 12 to 17 and a 42% reduction among those ages 12 to 14, reporting that it would be very easy to obtain marijuana. This pattern was uniformly observed among youth in all socio-demographic subgroups. They concluded, quote, despite the legalization of recreational and medical marijuana in some states, our findings suggest that perceptions that marijuana would be very easy to obtain are on the decline among American youth, end quote. The new data is consistent with figures published last year by the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, which reported, quote, from 2002 to 2014, perceived availability of marijuana decreased by 13% among persons aged 12 to 17 years and by 3% among persons aged 18 to 25 years, end quote. This study, Trends in the Perceived Access to Marijuana Among Adolescents in the United States, 2002 to 2015, appears in the Journal of Studies on Alcohol and Drugs. Another story from Massachusetts, standard roadside field sobriety tests, or FST, are not reliable indicators of marijuana-induced impairment, according to a ruling by the Massachusetts Supreme Judicial Court. The justices determined that there is a lack of scientific consensus as to the validity of field sobriety tests for determining whether a subject is under the influence of cannabis. They opined, quote, the Massachusetts Supreme Court said, quote, there is ongoing disagreement among scientists, however, as to whether the field sobriety tests are indicative of marijuana impairment. In recent years, numerous studies have been conducted in an effort to determine whether a person's performance on the field sobriety test is a reliable indicator of impairment by marijuana. These studies have produced mixed results. We're not persuaded that the field sobriety test can be treated as scientific tests establishing impairment as a result of marijuana consumption, end quote. As a result, Massachusetts Supreme Court justices ruled that police may only provide limited testimony with regard to a defendant's field sobriety test performance. An officer, quote, may not suggest on direct examination that an individual's performance on the field sobriety test established that the individual was under the influence of marijuana, in court, the Massachusetts Supreme Court determined. They went on, quote, likewise, an officer may not testify that a defendant passed or failed any field sobriety test, as this language improperly implies that the field sobriety test is a definitive test of marijuana use or impairment, end quote. The Massachusetts Supreme Court further ruled that a police officer may not testify without being qualified as an expert as to the effects of marijuana consumption or offer an opinion that a defendant was intoxicated by marijuana because no such general knowledge exists as to the physical or mental effects of marijuana consumption, which vary greatly among individuals, end quote. This case, Commonwealth of Massachusetts versus Gerhardt, is available online. Also in Massachusetts, many advocates in the cannabis industry feel the newly appointed Cannabis Control Commission, or CCC members who opposed Question 4, the state's recreational cannabis law, should make it clear that their personal positions will not impact their board responsibilities in implementing the law. The advocates are asking the CCC chairman, Stephen Hoffman, to request that the governor and the legislature provide adequate funding to get the legal sales system up and running on the current schedule. A strong majority of Massachusetts voters passed question 4 last November. Since then, we've seen a 6-month delay, a deeply flawed legislative rewrite process, blown deadlines, and now a 5-person regulatory board stacked with 4 legalization opponents. These developments in no way instill confidence that the implementation of legal marijuana sales in Massachusetts will be any better than the state's dreadful medical marijuana rollout. And that is the end of our hemp news segment for tonight. Mr. John Cornett's ready to play a song. Hey, John.
Hey, brother. Well, I'm going to bring it down to basics a little bit. You know, I'm just amazed at what's going on just in the last few years, all the changes I've seen. I'm very, very pleased, very, very pleased to be a part of all these new changes and new attitude about cannabis. Now, my doctor, who is a neurologist at OHSU, is treating the medicine that he prescribed me as adjunctive to my CBD and cannabis oil use.
So he's using, allowing you to continue cannabis use along with your other
using it as part of his program
medication
to make sure that we stay in cahoots with each other about what I'm doing, how much I'm doing, and all that kind of jazz. And you know, we're being very honest with him. Also, I agreed with him that I won't be driving until we figure out, you know, what's going on. So,
all right.
Anyway, this is a song to break the ice a little bit. With I love this song. John Prine wrote this a long time ago. It's called Spanish Pipe Dream. Also, I call it Blow Up Your TV. It goes like this. She was a level-headed dancer on the road to alcohol, and I was just a soldier on my way to Montreal. Well, she pressed her chest against me about the time the jukebox broke. Gave me a peck on the back of my neck. These are the words she spoke. Blow up your TV, play paper, go to the country, build you a home, plant a little garden, eat a lot of peaches, try to find Jesus on your own. Well, I sat there at the table and I acted real naive, 'cause I knew that topless lady had something up her sleeve. Well, she danced around the table and she did the hoochie cooch. She sang her song all night long, telling me what to do. Blow up your TV, throw away paper, go to the country, build you a home, plant a little garden, eat a lot of peaches, try to find Jesus on your own. Well, I was young and lonesome and about to leave that place. And just as I was leaving, well, she looked me in the face. She said, "No, you know the answer." I said, "No, but I'll give it a try." And to this day, we're living our way, and here is the reason why. Blew up her TV, threw away her paper, went to the country, built us a home, had a lot of children, fed them on peaches. They all found Jesus on their own. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, John. Thank you, viewers. Thank you there, Eric. We got Eric Llewellyn here. How are you doing this week?
Doing good. How you doing?
Pretty well. Pretty
Nice.
well. We still don't have our phones up. We hopefully will have something back next week or in the coming weeks. I talked to them. Apparently the board blew on their telephone system. That's what they told me. So hopefully we'll get that back sometime soon. How's your week been here, Eric?
Pretty good, pretty uneventful.
What'd you think of our news segments tonight?
Good, good. I kind of chuckled about the gateway drug, marijuana being a gateway drug.
Yeah.
In my opinion, the only thing that's ever gatewayed me to is a fridge. Yeah.
I've had my problems with that fridge, even though I've been hard at work trying to lose weight over the past year and a half. Still, I've lost some and got more to lose.
Nice.
But got to stay away from that refrigerator when you get the munchies.
Right, right.
And the sugar
hard.
especially. So, again, we have this banner turned around tonight because of a court order, because an Israeli-Canadian oil company has obtained a court order spending $1 million on lawyers to steal our patient database. If you're one of our patients, please give us a call at 503-235-4606. We're preparing legal action. We'd like to have your assistance in pursuing these dastardly Israeli-Canadian oil company, Adira Energy. That's A-D-I-R-A, Adira Energy, that's come in and based on lies and fraud, stolen our business. We hope to be able to obtain enough attorneys to go to battle with these folks in the near future, but right now we don't have any, so stay tuned for more on that. So we have a film clip from Jorge Cervantes. Is that film clip ready to roll? Okay. We will be running this Jorge Cervantes video clip about broad mites and russet mites. So here it is. We'll be back in just a second.
Ready.
Let them know myself.
Hi, this is Jorge Cervantes, and I'm here in Southern Oregon with an expert on broad mites. This guy, Will, from the Oregon Sun-Grown Growers Association, he knows all about mites and how to kill them. Actually, specifically the broad mites, because those are the little bitty guys you can't see. They're really hard to tell what you've got, and then by the time you figure it out, it's way late. So Will has got some specific products and a lot of information on how to apply them in different climates. Will, thanks so much, man. This is cool.
Absolutely.
Cool, you're here. Well, tell me, these damn broad mites, they're a pain, and they really make problems for everybody. Mm-hmm. And what do you use to kill them? First, you diagnose them.
Absolutely. And one of the things that's really difficult that people are struggling with about russet mites is that, and broad mites and cyclamen mites, they're all too small to see with the naked eye. So we're used to dealing with spider mites and other pests that can be difficult to diagnose, but once you see them, they're there visibly. And with the broad mites and the russet mites, we need to have viewing lenses and microscopes to identify what's happening.
So when you say microscope, what do you mean? How many power?
The most ideal power to find them is 60x.
Okay, so you can have a little handheld scope and find them yourself on the leaves. And where do they occur? Could you show me on this plant here?
Yes. So if you were looking at a leaf on your plant, their favorite place to hang out is on the underside of the leaf, especially right next to the leaf vein. So
and what do you look for? What do they look like?
Well, we'll have to put some photos in of what you would see through the microscope. The damage on the top of a plant might be similar to this, where you've got
just hold that still for a minute so I can see it. But please continue. But hold it still. Okay.
So a lot of times the damage from russet mites and broad mites can be misdiagnosed as a nitrogen deficiency.
Okay, that's what that looks like right there.
Yeah, this specimen here probably has a little bit of spider mite infestation as well. But you're going to see on the plants a lightening where you would expect it to be darker. This is an example here of a specimen that might be slightly less advanced.
So there's not much you can see there.
Absolutely.
You really have to pay attention to what's going on.
Absolutely. And the thing is, the first time you diagnose spider mites or russet mites, you might notice it because of these symptoms, but you really want to, if you know that you have them, you need to start looking at your plants through a handheld microscope or a tabletop microscope regularly.
Yeah.
Because if you wait until you're seeing damage on the top of the leaf like this, the russet mite count on this leaf is probably above 200 mites per leaf.
200 mites per leaf?
Yes.
You mean I can't see squat on this leaf, and there's 200 mites on there. 200. Oh, geez, that's a lot. If I look at that, and then you look at that leaf closely, you can see very little problem. Well, I've seen it when these, right at the base of the leaf near the petiole, it curls up, and the little buds curl up and die and stuff.
Absolutely.
So usually most people don't realize what's going on for a while, and until they really understand how to diagnose these mites. So what do you do? What products do you use when you've got an infestation?
Okay. So the first thing is, ideally, you are watching this video early in the year, and your plants are small, and you haven't quite got a full-blown infestation, and you identify them. Now, one of my favorite products to use is this product called PRF 97.
Okay, PRF 97, huh?
Yes.
Let me come in a little closer. Your finger's over the one side there. Let me come in a little closer here on the Latin name. So if there's another, so we can see that. It's right on the skin, or on the screen now.
Yeah.
So this is good. And this PRF 97, tell me a little bit about using it. How does that work?
So this product is a live fungus.
Okay. Is it wettable powder?
It's a wettable powder. You mix up. One of the things that is there's a couple things about this product. It's a really wonderful product. It's effective, and it kills a wide variety of pests fairly quickly.
Including what kind of a list do you have for that?
It'll kill russet mites. It'll kill broad mites and cyclamen mites. It'll kill spider mites.
Yes.
It'll also kill some of the root pests, such as phylloxera or root aphids, if you apply it as a drench.
No, yeah, phylloxera, that's really bad, or it can be bad around grapes as well, can't it?
Absolutely, absolutely. And a lot of cannabis is grown in regions where grapes grow very well also. So that's a pest that we share, which is important for us to control so that we're good neighbors to our beautiful grape growing friends.
So true, and you've got some more products here too, eh?
Absolutely. Well, let me just give. There's two things about this product. One is it's very difficult to mix with water. It's a wettable powder, but you need to mix it very well, or it will clog your sprayer.
Okay, so you mix a slurry first. You mix a little bit in, you mix a little bit with water until you get a little slurry, kind of a paste, and then you mix that with water, and then that mixes much better.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And the other thing is, like most fungus-based pest control things, like this and like Bavaria bassana, which I'll show you in a second, they need a high relative humidity to be effective. So this product is best applied either early in the spring in a greenhouse or in an indoor room where the humidity can be controlled and can be high.
What's high mean? How high? Is there a trigger point for high humidity?
80% humidity at the leaf surface. So if you have an ambient humidity of 40 or 50%, that's sufficient, because the water on the bottom of the leaf will create a small microclimate, which is higher. But if your ambient humidity is 20%, this product won't be very effective.
Okay, so it will work fine if your ambient humidity is above, say, 40%, 45%?
Absolutely, and you want to apply it in the evening or very early in the morning if you're applying it outdoors.
Okay, and that's against most spraying rules, I mean, to apply it early in the evening so it goes all night. Right. But since this is for a fungicide, it's okay.
Absolutely, and it is very, very difficult to deal with russet mites if your plants are already well into flower, which is the reason why normally you don't want to spray at night, so that you don't
get a fungus, right?
If you are late into flower, it's very difficult to control. So this is something you really need to identify early and treat early so that you're not battling it in that area where you're worried.
Sure, sure. No, that makes a lot of sense. And then what else do you have for the broad mites and the hemp russet mites and the cyclamen mites?
Okay, so this is Naturalis L, which is another fungus. It's Bavaria bassana.
Okay.
Which is has a slightly different mode of action. Generally speaking, whenever you're applying products, you don't want to apply the same product over and over. That's how you get resistant mites.
Right.
So even when you're using organic and biologic controls, it's a good idea to use a wide variety of controls on a rotation. So you might apply the PRF 97 and then apply this product 4 or 5 days later.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah, I've used the Bosavera and it works great. All of these products come under several brand names, and that's why I keep showing you the Latin name.
Absolutely.
But yeah, that stuff works great, and then the application stuff. But the cool thing is you've had direct experience with each one of these products,
Absolutely.
and you know how well they work.
Absolutely. This is another biologic product. It's Grandivo, which the good thing about this product is that you can apply it in any weather conditions. This is not a live fungus. It's a bacteria which has been grown and then heat killed and packaged. And one of the proteins that the bacteria creates is a stomach toxin to insects that eat leaves.
Okay, so that's like BT, Bacillus thuringiensis, where they eat it, get sick, can't eat, and die.
Absolutely.
It's great.
Which is exactly what we want for them. This product is 14 grams per gallon. I've labeled it there, but you can see that if you want to see the actual species name there.
Okay, here we go. Yeah, I got to just focus in here. Should work right about there. I'll keep it for a second.
And like I said, this product can be applied in rotation with other products, which like those ones I showed you before, and is not dependent on high humidity. It's also very gentle on beneficial insects because the bugs won't die if they don't eat the leaves. So only leaf-feeding insects are killed by this, which is a really good benefit, so you're not hurting your beneficials. This product here is not actually a direct insect killer. This is a product which helps other products spread and stick. And it's particularly important with the Grandivo. This specific spreader sticker, Oro Boost, it's based on oranges, and it smells really nice in your garden. And it doubles the efficacy of Grandivo.
Okay, so it's got a synergist.
Having the Grandivo stick around on the plant leaves really makes it more effective.
So that's really important. Just because you apply it doesn't mean it's going to stay there.
Absolutely.
You know, keeping it there is super important with organic growing because the entire leaf surface, all of the foliage, needs to be covered.
Absolutely. And this product is kinetic. So anytime you're going to use a biological, or if you're worried about plants that might be a little bit more sensitive, this spreader sticker is more gentle and is almost as effective. So this is a good tool to have in the toolkit if you are having plants that look like they might be under stress. The Oro Boost, while it's very effective, can be a little bit difficult. This is actually the result of Oro Boost applied when the plant was a little bit too sensitive. You're seeing this leaf curl here. And these plants will grow out of this without any problem, but
as soon as you quit beating them up, they get better.
Exactly, but we have to beat them up a little bit to get those russet mites out.
Sure, sure. No, those things are a real problem. Now, what is this?
This is Pyganic, which is a pyrethrum. It's an organically derived pyrethrum product. Pyrethrum is an insect neurotoxin. It's relatively safe for humans and mammals. It is OMRI listed. The benefit of this product is that it provides a very fast knockdown. If you have if you are one of the people who happens to have, you discover the russet mites or the broad mites, and it's an infestation across your entire garden, this is a good product to apply once or twice before you begin the other products, because you'll get about an 80% kill rate within a day and a half, which it isn't enough to cure your garden, but it's definitely enough to slow the growth curve of the insect down. I would use this product with extreme caution, especially because you can develop, or the insects can develop resistance to it very rapidly. But this is the safest product to use if you have an infestation and you need immediate results.
Excellent, excellent.
And the other good thing about this product is that it is very UV sensitive, so it breaks down within 48 hours. And the residue will no longer be on the plant at that point. So
Perfect. It's non-persistent.
non-persistent, exactly.
All right, all right. Well, let's see. What else you have under here now? This Biomite. What's this stuff?
This is the last product I'm going to show you. This Biomite product is it's an agricultural formulation of products that are based on essential oils and plant essences. So there's a lot of products on the market that are available in small packages that are very expensive.
Yeah, but there's a lot of lightweight stuff. Does that work?
Essential oils are actually quite effective. They can be hard on your plants, but if you want to take that approach, if that's something that really appeals to you, this is a good thing to make people aware that you can have access to that that plant healing chemistry that's in essential oils without having to spend hundreds of dollars to treat your garden. The mainstream agricultural operations are using that same approach, and you can buy products which will give you those benefits without having to pay boutique store prices.
Okay, I understand.
I'm all about the survival of the family farm, which means the inputs need to be cost effective.
That's right, that's right. Well, we need a little plug for the Growers Association now.
Absolutely. So my name is Will Feetham. I'm the Vice President of the Oregon Sun-Grown Growers Guild. We're here in Oregon, and we represent family farms and medical patients who want to grow a sustainable family farming cannabis industry. So if you are in our area, or even if you aren't, we'd love to have you come visit our webpage and look at the policies we're promoting and the future we're trying to create for everyone who loves this beautiful plant.
Okay, so what website is that now?
It's OregonSungrown.org.
Okay, and does Oregon spelled out, sungrown, and .org?
.org.
Okay, that sounds great. Well, wonderful, Will. Thank you so much, and thanks for helping everybody get rid of these miserable mites, man.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jorge.
Hey, for sure. Well, thanks a lot. This is Jorge Cervantes. We're signing off, and remember, kill a mite today, you'll feel better.
So yeah, the Oregon Sun Growers Guild is doing some good work in Southern Oregon, and we highly recommend them, especially if you're a sun-grown Oregon cannabis farmer. So, and we appreciate Jorge Cervantes allowing us to use his videos. His website is marijuanagrowing.com. That's marijuanagrowing.com. So bright and early at about 4 a.m., I'm going to be at the Portland Airport and going to the Great Midwest Marijuana Harvest Fest. The Great Midwest Marijuana Harvest Fest is the oldest marijuana event in the United States. It started in 1971, and in fact, I first went to it back in 1988, and it's the first time I had got on a stage in front of thousands of people and given a speech about marijuana. I'd been in smaller groups presenting Reefer Madness as Washington State's coordinator for the National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws from 1982 to 1984. But in '88, I went to Madison, Wisconsin for the first time, and I've been back there about 12 times over the interceding years, and gave speeches there in the late 80s and the early 90s, and recently went back, and I'll be back in Madison, Wisconsin tomorrow. You can find out more about the Great Midwest Marijuana Harvest Fest, which was started by this fellow named Ben Mazzell back in 1971. So we'll be posting pictures about that on the internet. But It's quite an event. It starts around the library of the University of Wisconsin there in Madison. And on Sunday, there is a march from the University of Wisconsin over to the state capitol building. And so the march is always pretty inspirational. It goes down State Street, Main Street there in Madison, Wisconsin. What you're looking at on your screen is our hemp flame of freedom. This is hemp seed oil burning a hemp wick. And this is the main reason that marijuana was made illegal, because the petrochemical industries realized that new mechanization of hemp had made hemp seed much, much cheaper, and that hemp seed oil would compete with petroleum products. And so they made up the whole marijuana myth based on racist lies to criminalize it. And so, and in fact, I don't think it's any coincidence that an Israeli Canadian petrochemical company, Adira Energy, has come in based on lies and fraud and deception, stolen our business. Actually, with $1 million in legal fees, they've managed to get the Multnomah County courts to consistently rule against us because, hey, we don't even have an attorney right now. We spent $130,000 on attorneys, but they spent $1 million. And their main job was a war of attrition to stop us from being able to respond to their lies and deception. And so they've actually come in and stolen our property as well, where we have grown our outdoor garden for the past 15 years. You had benefited from that garden, hadn't you, Eric?
And me and a lot of other people, yes.
Yeah, and so this year we don't have an outdoor crop.
It's hurting a lot of people.
It is.
They're hurting a lot of people.
Yeah, and so tell our audience what there's Jorge Cervantes in our outdoor garden back in 2015. And so you went and visited the garden on occasion. And
it was nice.
Yeah, and so hopefully we will obtain that back. They never paid a penny for that property, just like they never paid a penny for anything in our business. They just came in and based on fraudulent forged documents, they've convinced the court that I sold the business, even though I was never paid anything whatsoever. And so they claim our business was in debt, and it wasn't. They are just outrageous. So for more information or for a referral to an honest doctor, you can give us a call at 503-235-4606. That's 503-235-4606. If you know someone who needs help getting with any of these medical conditions, obtaining a medical marijuana permit, we have doctors who quit working for them after their corporate takeover, and doctors all over the country that we can refer you to. So just give us a call at 503-235-4606. And again, if you'd like to be part in a class action lawsuit against this Israeli Canadian oil company, which is financed by a billionaire named George Soros and other people up in Canada by the name of Talal Yassin and Dennis Binney and Ryan Roebuck, then give us a call. That number is 503-235-4606. That's 503-235-4606. So hopefully we can get some attorneys that will take this case.
Some justice.
Huh?
Some justice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's see, do they have another video? Unfortunately, our batteries have been drained. Obviously, their spyware has been at work here. So hopefully they can get something queued up there. Because, what have you got to say?
Just that, I'll put a little throw out there for anybody with a disability. Cannabis, it helps you. So if you don't have means to getting what you need through medical cannabis, give our number a call. We got a lot of insight on what it can help you with your disability.
Okay, so we have another video. Hopefully we'll be able to run that here. They're still working on it. Okay. Well, normally we take some phone calls, but the phone has been down, And so that stops our ability to keep our show mixed up. After we have done over 900 hours of television over the past 21 years. You started the show back in 1997, and if you want to see more clips of it, you can see that at YouTube. We have hundreds of our videos up there on YouTube. But if you're watching tonight, we're still waiting on that video.
We like to answer questions, and we're sorry we can't.
Yeah. Okay.
Sam?
So we're waiting on a video roll in here.
Welcome back to Gillespie Farms.
That would be a good thing.
Everybody, it is now mid-August and we're back visiting the high CBD cannabis field. One of the things I wanted to mention here too, I've noticed some comments. The word industrial hemp I used before, and technically it is because the THC is below 0.3%. But industrial hemp seems to have a different connotation, and instead I'm going to be calling this stuff high CBD cannabis because that's exactly what it is. Yeah, THC is low, it's below 0.3, but the main reason it's being grown is for the high CBD cannabinoids. So that being said, we're back looking at this high CBD cannabis field today. Glad to be here. Things have grown, they vegged a little bit, and started kicking the flower pretty quickly once they got in the ground here. Very photosensitive period, the strain is. And obviously the farmers would have liked to see them veg and grow a little bit longer. But at the elevation we are at, and with the planning they had, jumping on this last minute this year, this is the field they're going to get. And what a field it is. Very pretty. A lot of lovely ladies out here. You can just see from where I'm at here, my vantage point. Got a lot of radishes growing. All those white flowers are your radishes. They were here before too. And now you have all these lovely cannabis plants growing on this 5+ acre grow. So take a look around with me, see what you all think. Pretty cool, glad to be back here. Enjoy your time at Gillespie Farms today. Wish you all the best. Happy growing and blessed be. So one of the things the grower mentioned was the pH of the field. Obviously in the past with strawberries being grown here and also radishes and whatnot, pH wasn't appropriate for growing cannabis, so they went ahead and limed the field. But obviously applying the proper pH to an acre of, or 5 acres of growing is a lot more difficult than just doing it at your little home grow there. So what they did is they focused instead just right around the cannabis plants themselves. They went ahead and limed about a 6-inch square area right around each plant there. And the drip tape comes in and feeds at those points, and hopefully feeds it and drops it down in there and gets that soil changing up to where the cannabis is happy, taking up its proper nutrients in the right pH range. Just another one of those things you got to think about when you're taking care of all this.
Have to
break it up.
Yeah, you come back. You have to come back through, and you have to do this 7,000 times, and that's not feasible. I mean, that's hard stuff. So it'll still go in over time, and if it was earlier in the season, it'd be all right. But
yeah, this late,
and then the fact that we're going to transition to drip won't pull that stuff down.
No.
You got to overhead it. So
you said it was Calpro lime.
Calpril, yeah.
Fast acting, but clumps up.
It's an organic product. Yeah, I know. And you know what's funny right now is even with hemp, there's a huge disconnect because like on Capitol Hill in Washington, there's a program that's allowing they've legalized the growing of hemp. Yeah. DEA still has all forms of cannabis, including hemp, as a controlled substance.
So
the
yeah.
DEA says, because here it transitions over, so they clearly needed more water. And they needed something different from the dirt. They either needed a higher pH or more phosphorus or both. And if they had a phosphorus deficiency, isn't that what they need to grow roots?
Yeah.
So if they're showing phosphorus above, that means the root mass down below. And then that would further compound the water thing. The roots didn't grow deeper, so they just never could catch up. The whole thing was just kind of stacked against them.
Yeah, variables were not in their favor.
It's not like I drove through a blizzard, bring it back here. Use number 20 through like the bottom up. You float the water up through the sand so you don't get sediment into your system. And then it's as simple as like a pressure gauge showing your coming in and then going out. And then once the outgoing pressure is less than the pressure coming in, you got to back flush it.
And then this will be used to feed the drip system.
Yeah, it's a 5,000 gallon tank, and then it'll have an electric motor. And then
Power's right here.
drips. Yeah, and we have it in just in time for flower and then for next season.
Gotcha. And one of the main things, like you said here too, you've been watering with basically just the sprinklers and the irrigation coming up from the pond with the diesel tractor. And as you said here, due to the high winds at times when it's getting watered, the plants on the outside here, they were actually the largest seedlings to begin with. We're now not doing as well. They're not as large, they're not as well developed because the water wasn't hitting the plants. Instead, when it was getting sprayed, it was going to the other ones.
And then a nice anomaly is one on the end here that benefited from a leak.
Oh yeah, okay. So yeah, as you can see here, this plant had a leak in it, or a leak near it, and it grew better. And these ones were it's high wind. The wind, it blows up here, didn't hit the plants. You can see where they just didn't quite get enough water through here. And as you come over in the rows, a lot more lush, a lot more green, a lot more full.
And I'm also suspicious that these were a heavier feeder or more sensitive to the low pH of the soil. Because they did that weird, like maybe kind of phosphorus deficiency. I'm not sure.
The redding of the...
Yeah, the reddening of the stem, and then like where the leaves bleach, but not like from a nitrogen deficiency from the bottom up, and they shed them. Like they do it throughout the entire plant, and they lose it on the outside of the leaf, and then the inside stays green, and does that kind of looks like a sun bleach, but it's a phosphorus thing, I think.
Yeah.
So, because the field was way less than perfect dirt. Oh yeah, because I just watered them during the day one time. So I burned the leaves because I'm still hitting them with the hose. So I was trying to be careful. It's like I would hit one directly, but if I water too far, I'd spray the one in front of me.
Oh yeah, like this girl here.
Yep, that's what happens when you water during the day. I didn't have a choice. I left too long. They were wilting. Yeah, it's really cool because the ones in the 5 acres actually surpassed these massively. But oh no, what I was saying is you can see how the soil profile made a big difference on the plant health because everywhere I burnt, there's huge ones. Or not huge, but bigger, like right there.
Gotcha. Yeah.
That one.
That is a pretty sad looking crop, I've got to say. Boy, I'd be ashamed to put that video up, but I did, I guess. I put it up here on the show. We didn't know. We didn't know. I didn't know what they were going to pull up, but boy, that one was pretty sad. There are a lot of much better hemp crops out there that we'd be happy to show you videos of. We just don't have them ready right now. We are running out, so Eric, is there anything you want to say in closing here?
Medical cannabis saves lives. Let's go with that.
Right.
Yeah,
That's pretty short.
Yeah.
So if you want more information, give us a call at 503-235-4606. That's 503-235-4606. We have physician referral line there if you need a doctor to help with medical marijuana. You need more plants than the recreational will allow. If you have any of these conditions, then give us a call. Again, that number is 503-235-4606. I don't know how many more minutes I can say that, but I'll keep trying. 503-235-4606. So, and for more information, you can go to our website, which is crrh.org. That's crrh.org. We're going to go out with a song by Mr. John Cornett. I don't think he's quite prepared to play this long, but we're going to turn it over to you, John, if you can handle it. All right. Thank you guys for watching. Tune in next week and help us restore hemp.
All right, this song has a little hemp in it. Well, actually, some cannabis, I think. I'm not sure what the guys from Little Feat were thinking when they were sitting around writing this song. If they were getting high or what, I don't know. I wasn't there, you know. They apparently had a little experience. The words seem to indicate that. I'm going to go ahead and read them. Been warped by the rain, driven by the snow, drunk and dirty, don't you know, still willing. I was out on the road late last night, see my pretty Judy in every headlight. I said, Judy, that's right, Judy. And I've been from Tucson to Tucumcari, Tehachapi to Tonopah, driven every kind of rig that's ever been made, driven the back road so it wouldn't give way. And if you give me red, whites, and wine, show me a sign, I'll be willing to be moving. Kicked by the wind and robbed by the sleet, had my head stone in, but I'm still on my feet and I'm still willing. Now I smuggled some smokes and folks from Mexico, got baked by the sun every time I go down to Mexico. I'm still willing. And I've been from Tucson to Tucumcari, Tonopah, driven every kind of rig that's ever been made, driven the back road so it wouldn't get away. And if you give me green, whites, and wine, show me a sign, I'll be willing